All right, so are you ready to dive into something kind of interesting today? We're going to be looking at why some younger women are attracted to older men.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, and right off the bat, I want to say we're not here to judge anybody.
Not at all.
We're just here to kind of look at this material and see what we can find out about, the psychology and the sociology behind it all.
Yeah, like what's the why?
Exactly. The why, not the should you or shouldn't you.
Right.
So our source material starts off by saying that maturity is like a big thing.
Okay.
And, it kind of makes sense. I mean, it's not just about how old somebody is. It's about how they kind of approach life and deal with things. And the source actually quotes somebody as saying, women don't want to feel like they're dating someone they need to teach or mold.
Oh, wow.
What do you think about that?
Well, I think that, that really gets at this idea of stability.
Okay.
Like, think about it. Wouldn't you feel more secure with someone who's emotionally stable, can make decisions, and just has it together?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that younger guys can't have those qualities.
Right.
But, life experience does play a role.
Yeah. You learn how to deal with problems and, bounce back from things and just get more comfortable with being you.
You're more self-assured.
Exactly. And I think that's attractive.
And, this reminds me of something called social exchange theory.
Okay.
And basically it says that we're always kind of weighing the costs and benefits in our relationships.
Interesting.
So someone who brings emotional stability,
Yeah.
that's a plus.
Yeah, a big plus.
A real asset.
Okay, so maturity is important. Check.
Check.
But there's more. Our source material also talks about communication being super important.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And they're saying that older men tend to be better at, expressing themselves and setting boundaries and really listening, which, let's face it, can make or break a relationship.
Absolutely. And it's more than just not, talking about yourself too much like the source mentions.
Right.
It's about active listening, really hewing what the other person is saying.
Yeah, like you're really paying attention.
And when someone does that, it makes you feel seen.
Yeah, understood.
Yes, understood.
It's powerful.
It is.
Okay, so it's not just what you say, it's how you listen.
Right.
And speaking of how you do things, the source talks about dating styles.
All right.
Like they contrast thoughtful dates with just casual hangouts.
Interesting.
What do you think about that?
I think the source is right on the money when they talk about intentionality.
Okay.
Like it's about putting in the effort, showing the other person that you value their time.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be some big grand gesture.
Right.
But maybe you plan a date around something they love or remember a detail they told you before.
Little things.
Exactly.
It shows you care.
It's like a secret language.
I love that, a secret language of thoughtfulness.
Yeah.
This reminds me of something a friend once told me. She's, I'm attracted to older men because they seem more confident.
Oh, yeah. Confidence is key.
And guess what?
Yeah.
Our source mentions confidence too. I know, right? As another big factor.
Which makes sense, though, right?
Total.
Like the more life experience you have, the more you had to overcome stuff, achieve things.
Right.
It builds confidence, and that can be really attractive.
They actually quote someone in the source as saying, he doesn't seek external validation or feel the need to impress people by being someone he's not.
Wow.
Powerful, right?
It really is. It speaks to this being genuine,
Comfortable with yourself.
Exactly.
Not needing everyone to tell you you're great.
Yes, and that can be magnetic, but it's important. We're talking about confidence, not arrogance.
Oh, that's a good point.
There's a difference.
Huge difference.
It's about owning your strengths,
Yeah.
but not putting other people down.
Yeah, totally.
Humility is important too.
So speaking of appearances, our source kind of briefly mentions this refined, timeless look.
Okay.
What do you think they mean by that? Like, is it all about tailored suits and, silver fox hair?
Well, I don't think it's about chasing trends or trying to look younger. It's more about understanding what looks good on you,
Right.
taking care of yourself.
Having self-respect.
Exactly, projecting that image.
So it's not about a specific style. It's about self-awareness.
Yeah, like knowing your own personal brand.
Interesting.
And that can be attractive too.
Okay. Are you ready for another big piece of this puzzle?
Hit me with it.
Emotional intelligence.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Our source says this is where older men really shine. I'm listening. They say older men are better at handling conflict in a mature way, and offering emotional support and just generally making you feel safe in the relationship.
So this is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Because emotional intelligence isn't something you're born with.
Oh, you learn it.
You learn it through experience, good and bad.
Right.
You learn to recognize and manage your own emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And you get better at understanding other people's emotions, too.
Yeah, it's like they say, experience is the best teacher.
That's it, exactly.
Yeah.
You learn from your mistakes, you grow.
You become wiser.
Yes, wiser and more adept at navigating, the complexities of emotions.
And that can be super attractive, especially if you're looking for that emotional connection.
Exactly. It's about knowing how to handle those tough conversations
Yeah,
without all the drama,
without getting defensive.
right? And being able to offer support without being overbearing.
Yeah.
It's about creating a safe space where you can both feel heard and understood.
Ooh, I like that, a safe space.
Yeah, and that's a big part of what makes a relationship strong and fulfilling.
Have you noticed that in your own life?
Hmm.
Like, do you find that people who are more emotionally intelligent are just more attractive generally?
I think I have.
Really?
Yeah, I've noticed that people who can regulate their emotions and empathize with others and communicate well, they tend to have better relationships.
Oh, that's interesting.
Not just romantic ones, but friendships too,
It makes you wonder if that's like the secret ingredient.
to good relationships.
Yeah,
Maybe it is.
it's definitely a big factor.
And that's what our source seems to be saying too.
Okay, wow, we've covered so much already. This is fascinating stuff.
That is, isn't it?
But we've got to take a quick pause.
All right.
We'll be back in a bit to continue exploring this intriguing connection between age experience and attraction.
I can't wait.
Don't go anywhere. Okay, so we're back, and we're picking up right where we left off, exploring this whole idea of why some younger women are attracted to older men.
It's a fascinating topic, isn't it?
Yeah, and the source material is really giving us a lot to unpack.
We've already talked about so much like maturity and communication and confidence and emotional intelligence.
Right, it's like we're putting together a puzzle.
Yeah, a puzzle of attraction.
And right before the break, we were talking about how emotional intelligence can be a real game changer in relationships.
It's not just about being nice,
No, it's deeper than that.
It's about understanding and managing emotions.
Yeah, both your own and your partner's.
And that brings us to another point our source makes about older men often being perceived as more relationship ready.
Oh yeah, I've definitely heard that before.
What do you think about that?
Well, it seems like the thinking is that younger people are still figuring things out.
Yeah, they're exploring their options,
Maybe not ready to settle down.
focusing on their careers.
Whereas someone who's a bit older might have a clearer picture of what they want.
In a partner and in life, generally.
Right. They've had more time to date and experience different relationships.
And to learn from their mistakes.
Which doesn't mean older men are perfect or anything,
Of course not.
but they might have a better grasp on, what they're looking for.
And what they're willing to compromise on.
Which could be really appealing to someone who's also looking for a serious relationship.
Yeah, someone who's ready to build something meaningful.
This whole idea of relationship readiness makes me think about attachment theory.
Oh yeah, fascinating stuff.
You familiar with that?
Absolutely. It looks at how our early childhood experiences can shape our relationships as adults.
Exactly. And it suggests that people who are securely attached tend to be more comfortable with intimacy and commitment.
Which could explain why some younger women might be drawn to older men who often embody those qualities.
Interesting, right?
It's not just about age itself, it's about these underlying psychological dynamics.
I love that.
It's complex.
So we've talked about maturity, communication, confidence, emotional intelligence, relationship readiness.
We've covered a lot.
But guess what? Our source has one more quality for us to consider.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
Approachability.
Ah, yes. This is where those nonverbal cues come in.
Like a genuine smile, a relaxed posture, making eye contact.
It's like you're saying, hey, I'm open to connecting.
And our source didn't just talk about physical appearance, but about the energy you project.
It's about warmth and genuineness.
Being comfortable with yourself.
And that often comes with age,
As you get more comfortable in your own skin.
Less worried about what others think.
This whole conversation has been really eye-opening.
Me too.
It's made me think about attraction in a totally new way.
It's not just about those superficial things.
No, it's about the qualities that make someone a good partner.
And a fulfilling presence in your life.
Right, someone who adds value.
Exactly. And I think it's important to remember that you can find those qualities in people of all ages.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's not about putting people in boxes based on their age.
It's about recognizing those unique traits that make each person attractive.
Absolutely. Everyone has something special to offer.
Speaking of unique perspectives, I was thinking about how we often hear about this from the women's side.
Yeah.
Like why women might be attracted to older men
But what about the men?
What about their perspective?
Why might they be attracted to younger women?
It's a good question, right?
It challenges us to think outside the box.
Maybe it's about the energy and vibrancy that younger women often have.
Or maybe it's about seeing life through fresh eyes.
Or finding common interests regardless of age.
Who knows? It's complex,
It seems like attraction is this multifaceted force.
shaped by so many things.
Our preferences, our experiences, even evolution.
We could spend hours talking about this.
So let's bring this back to our listeners.
Okay.
What are your biggest takeaways from this conversation so far?
For me, it's been a reminder that attraction goes beyond just the surface.
Yeah, it's deeper than that.
It's about the qualities that make someone a great partner,
Absolutely.
someone you can really connect with.
And build a life with.
And those qualities can be found in people of all ages.
So true.
It's not about the number on your driver's license,
It's about finding that special connection.
that spark.
We'll be back in a bit to wrap things up and leave you with one final thought to ponder. And we're back. All right, so we're going to wrap up our deep dive into this whole age and attraction thing.
It's been a fascinating conversation, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has. And you know what strikes me is how a lot of these qualities we've talked about, they're just desirable in general.
Totally. It's not about age, really.
Right, it's about the stuff that makes someone a great partner, period.
Exactly. Like, think about it. Who wouldn't want someone who's emotionally mature,
Right,
a good communicator, confident?
right, exactly.
Those are the building blocks of a healthy relationship.
No matter how old you are.
Right.
So let's do a quick recap for everyone. We started off talking about maturity.
Mm-hmm.
Remember not just how old someone is, but how they deal with life. You
Right,
know.
like having their act together.
Exactly. And our source talked about that sense of stability.
Not needing to be taught or molded.
Yeah. Then we moved on to communication.
Huge one.
Our source said that older men are often better at expressing themselves, setting boundaries, and really listening.
Active listening.
Yes. And then there's confidence.
Oh yeah, that magnetic quality.
That comes from knowing who you are and not needing everyone to, validate you all the time.
Remember that quote?
Yeah. He doesn't seek external validation or feel the need to impress people by being someone he's not.
Powerful stuff.
I know, right?
It's about being authentic.
And then we got into emotional intelligence.
Being able to handle those big feelings.
Yeah, yours and your partner's.
Mhm.
Our source pointed out that older men might be better at, navigating conflict, offering support, creating that sense of safety.
That safe space.
Exactly. And we even touched on attachment styles.
How our past can affect our present relationship.
Oh yeah, fascinating stuff.
It's all connected.
And lastly, we talked about approachability.
Those nonverbal cues.
A smile, good posture, eye contact.
Signaling that you're open and approachable.
So, as we've been talking about all this, I've been thinking about how we often hear this from the woman's perspective.
Yeah, like why are women attracted to older men?
But what about the men?
What about their side of the story?
What draws them to younger women?
That's a really interesting question.
Right, it makes you think.
Like maybe it's the energy younger women bring.
Or seeing the world through a different lens.
Or maybe it's just about finding common ground regardless of age.
Right.
It's a mystery.
Well, it seems like attraction is just this complex thing.
Influenced by so many factors.
Individual preferences, experiences, maybe even evolution, who knows?
It's a beautiful mess.
That's a great way to put it. So as we come to the end of this deep dive, I just want to leave you with this thought. We've explored some reasons why younger women might be attracted to older men, but at the end of the day, attraction is personal.
It's about that special connection
That's
that you can't always explain.
So keep exploring, keep questioning, and, keep an open mind when it comes to love.
You never know where you'll find it.
That's right. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into age and attraction.